Well, guys, I figured I would do something different. Figured I would do a race report on YouTube. Let me know what you guys think about this, if I should do this next year at every race. Well, this last race went pretty good. Got on a podium. Actually, my power valve broke on my 125, and I guess it's one half. I guess it's an issue that has happened to more than one person. I've never had it happen to me, and I had absolutely no bottom end. It was like I was riding a YZ85. There was no bottom end. It was only top end. So I struggled really bad. I ended up having to go around a hill climb. I went up it twice, and then after that I just kept backing out of it because I was worried that I wasn't going to make it, where I had no bottom end whatsoever and couldn't get out of the corners. I had to clutch it a lot. I found myself running in first gear a lot of times in the track because I had to be really high on RPMs, and I was kind of scared I was going to blow my bike up, but I just kept pushing and ended up finishing second, so I guess that's okay. It's all right considering how my years went. This year has been just absolutely horrible. I've had nothing but bad luck. Starting the season off hurt, racing hurt a big buck, and finishing 7th in XC2 wasn't bad, but I could have done way better, but I was hurt. And then after that, I stepped in a hole in Florida, so I didn't race Florida. It pulled it pulled my ligament way more in my knee than it should have been. So kind of messed me up for the next couple races. So yeah, I missed some races and got healthy. And then when I got healthy again, I was like, all right, everything's good. I'm not in bad shape. Everything should be okay. Well, of course, I had bike issues. It was just little things, too. It was like the banjo bolt on my brake loosened up, so I ended up stopping and tightening and bleeding the brakes, which I should have just raced without brakes. And it was just a lot of stupid things that shouldn't happen. It's just rookie year, rookie mistakes. And it was little things that broke on a bike that should have never even broke. Like stuff that I've never had happen to me before. It is insane, like the things that have happened. And it's been just an absolute rough year. And I've had a lot of deaths in the family and a lot of things that have happened, and this year has just been the worst year of my life. But you know, it's time to turn that around, and I'm glad that the year is finally over. At least the season is over, which in my opinion that means the year's over. And now I have time to regroup, get everything ready, and start back training hard and focus in on next year. Now that the last GNCC is out of the way, it's time to regroup and keep moving on and keep looking forward. But I definitely cannot do it without everybody that helped me out this year. Everybody has helped me so much this year. I got to give a big thanks to Boise Rees. That they gave me a call, and you know, they've helped me out for the past couple years, and they've helped me more than almost anyone has helped me, as well as Flow Motorsports. They've helped me a ton with sprockets and chains and things like that. And you know, it's just when you have a company that sticks behind you like they do, you know, it's definitely I respect that company more than any other company out there because of what they've done for me. And you know, I try to promote them as much as possible. And ASV levers, I actually had a box show up on my door, and I didn't even know how it got there or anything, and it was some levers, and I put them on my bike and thanked them, and next thing you know, I got in contact with them. And you know, there's some of the best levers I've ever had, as well as fly. I mean, that gear right there is some good looking stuff. I mean, I always look fresh when I'm in my fly gear, and you know, and I always feel very comfortable in it. It fits my body style very well. AXP skid plates, never broke a case, so I guess they work pretty good. They got chain guides too, and I run them, and I'm a big fan of their stuff. They're a new company to America. They've been around for a long time in France, and they're now coming to America, and everyone needs to go check out AXP. 60 helmets. You know, I used to wear other helmets, and you know, I was kind of scared that I would get knocked out, but when I started wearing a 60, like the fear just like left, and I was faster with a 60 helmet on than I was with any other helmet. They didn't even help me out at all, and it was just a mental thing because I knew that I was safe in that helmet. And a huge thank to Steven with Moto Host. Steven has helped me out tremendously. He took me out to Oklahoma to race Junior Moto X, and Steven has helped me more than most people out there. I mean, Steven is definitely a great guy, and he's got a great product. His silicone hoses, I haven't overheated because of a hose issue, that's for sure. They've never broke. They've always, like, I've had issue with stock hoses. They like rub on the frame and things like that and rub a hole in them. With Moto Hose, I've never had that issue. His silicone hoses are really strong and durable, and they like dispense the heat like a little better than stock, as well as Engine Ice coolant. I've got a lot of good advice from Engine Ice. You know, I've talked to Dave Kimmy, the owner, and he said when you turn pro, a lot of people think that it's easier than it is when you're an amateur, and when you do turn pro, it's way harder. He said when you turn pro, it's just begun. The hard work has just begun when you turn pro, and them were probably the best words of advice I've ever heard, because when I turned pro this year, it just like everything broke loose, and this year's been the hardest year of my life, and there's no doubt about it. It's made me a better person. It's made me a different person, and it's made me look at things differently, and it's made me work harder than I've ever worked before. And he was spot on when he said some people get burned out and leave the sport because they think, oh, I turned pro, I've made it, I don't have to do nothing. Well, you got to work way harder than you've ever worked before. And he was spot on with that. And I also got to give big thanks to Bobby Bar's Competition. You know, he's been with me since I was on a PW50. He was one of my first sponsors, and huge thanks to him, and as well as the Miami Bike Shop. He's my uncle. He's now selling the shop, if I'm not mistaken, but he's helped me out. He's helped me out for forever, since I can remember, and he's always been there and trying to make sure I have good equipment under me. He's tried helping with bikes and things like that, and if I can't afford a part, he'll help buy the part and things like that, and road bikes and mountain bikes. And got to give a big thanks to him, as well as Brett with Carb Sport. You know, I was struggling racing 3 hours. I was struggling getting through it, and you know, I talked to him, and he got me a jug of Carb Sport. And I'll tell you one thing's for sure: when I started drinking that about halfway through the race, I made it. That was the best 3-hour race I ever had. I wasn't like completely destroyed on the last lap. I still had enough in me to finish strong. And if it wasn't for that Carb Sport mix, I don't think I would have finished strong. And every race I drink it, and it makes me feel like there for a while I was feeling kind of hungry during the races. When I drank it, I didn't feel hungry. It made me feel really good. And as well as WRP and Marchini wheels. Them are some really good wheels. They actually have no nipples. No nipples. You know, where the spoke screws into it. They actually, the spoke screws straight into the hub, so it's lighter and it's stronger, and it's Italian. And anything Italian's got a good design to it. I'm Italian, so I gotta say that anything that's Italian's got good design. So that's definitely. I really like the wheels, and it actually made the bike handle better. I also got to give a big thanks out to Rusty with Triangle Cycles. He's helped me out so much over the years, and you know, he's the reason I switched to a Yamaha from Cowie, and you know, I got a decent deal on bikes, and I was like, you know, hey, and he tried over the years. He's helped me more and more and more, because he sees something in me that a lot of people didn't, and he wanted to help me where people wouldn't help me. And I got to give a huge thanks out to Rusty. And also, I was getting real bad arm pump, and he used to be a chiropractor, and he like felt my back, and he's like, you have a pinched nerve, like you have a vertebrae that's compressed, and it's pinching your nerve, and you need to go to a chiropractor when you get home and have him adjust you during the week. And I'll be darned if he wasn't right. And when I went to the chiropractor, it completely fixed my arm pump. And another thing, that's something else that happened this year. Like, it's just little things that happened this year that I can't control. It's just, this year's just been rough. But, and then Yamaha, they, like Donnie Luce, he's helped me out with with triangle and things like that. And FMF helped me out keeping the pipes look nice and fresh, you know. Gotta have a fresh looking pipe on there. I always ding them up or bend them and things like that, and rocks, because I tend to pick a line that I probably shouldn't have picked, and crushing a pipe or hit a lapper or something like that, not paying attention, and completely destroy a pipe. So if it wasn't for them, I'd be riding a bike with a pipe completely wrapped around a frame by the end of the year. And as well as factory connection, my bike definitely handles better with any other suspension company. I've never had a suspension company where I could get the suspension back, not even touch a clicker on it. I don't even have to check stack. Like, literally, I put it on a bike and she's ready to go. And it's factory. They got that stuff dialed. As well as my mom and dad with Ape graphics. My bike always looks fresh with the Ape graphics on it. I put some new graphics on for a race, and I feel like it adds horsepower to the bike when you put graphics on it. And also Scott Plessinger, he helped me a lot over the winter before this year. I've never felt as prepared as I have than when I train with Scott. But that's it. That's the rundown from the sponsor this year. And thanks to everybody. If there's anybody on that list I forgot, I'm sorry. And I just figured I'd make a race report, and just let me know down in the comments what you think about this race report video. I might do it next year after every race. Who knows? Just let me know what you guys think, and hope to see you next year.